E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Finding Health Naturally. Wednesdays, Mentoring Our Youth. Thursdays, Pets We Love. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Weda. And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. And let me just put up their website there right quickly. Emerson will be joining us shortly. He's finishing up a very important assignment over in Australia, and we're very anxious for him to join us. And we're going to be sharing some great information with you today. And let's see here. While I'm looking for that, here we go. The 6-minute webinar. You may recall we've had Rick Cesari on our TV show several times for those of you that follow the show regularly out there in TV land. And Rick is the marketing guru in behind the scenes of some great products that has made a bundle of money. I'm talking truckloads of money. Ever hear of GoPro? Ever hear of OxyClean, George Foreman Grill, and many others? I invited Rick to attend our 6-minute webinar. We did a one-on-one personal 6-minute webinar for him, and he was super impressed because a 6-minute webinar asked you specific questions to get you to answer one specific thing. Because if you have 5 or 6 products, your ideal client that's taking a look at you doesn't care about your other products. They want to know if the one product or one service or one coaching program, whatever it might be, they want to know one thing. Are you the person that can help them solve their problem, ease their pain, or solve what it is they're looking for? That's what the 6-minute webinar does, and that's exactly what Rick Cesari said. He said, this thing really makes you think. And he says, wow, I'm really impressed with it. So go to the 6minutewebinar.com. We have workshops there from time to time. Check them out. Also, too, I've got some great news coming up, but I got to get these announcements out of the way. Our show is also brought to you by the book, The 7 Levels of Truth by Mr. Bill Heinrich. I'm knocking everything over here. That's a copy of the book there. I always goof up the camera lights when I do this, but that's okay. And that's Mr. Bill's picture on the back. Bill is a personal friend of ours here at the TV station, and we've known him for years. And Bill's book took 30 years in the making, as he found answers for his life on why he was so miserable. He literally walked away from his life. The only thing he took with him was his name. And what Bill discovered, there's only 2 major emotions in life. There's love and there's fear. Love is from the universe. Fear is limited to planet Earth. But I love what he says here, if I may share this top of the back cover with you, because this is what's in it for you, the message. He says, this book is for anyone seeking answers, solutions, and the desired success in life. Now, I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. But notice here, I want you to embrace this. It is your birthright to enjoy in abundance love. I teach a class sometimes called LLAR. It's a very short class, but everybody wants to be loved. That's what the first L stands for. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be liked. That's what the second L stands for. And what does the A stand for? Everyone wants to be appreciated. And the R stands for respect. Everyone wants to be respected. And when you look at science is proven through DNA, we are all connected. 99.9% of our genes we're connected with each other. 99.9% of our DNA, we're all connected. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, black or white or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're all human beings. Therefore, every human being on planet Earth has the right to be loved. It is their birthright to be loved. And you love yourself first. That is the starting point right out of the gate. You've heard me say this probably 1,000 times on this show, but it's so important for people to know that they are worthy to be loved, because a lot of people, there's bad things said to them, negative things, hurtful things that cut them like a knife. And love can heal that wound. And love can give you the anchor and the strength that you need in your hour of need to love that other person enough that said those hurtful, harmful, mean things to you. Love them enough to let them go. Because what their problem is does not define you. And that's why we encourage people to get this book. It's $17 and 95 cents. I'll hold it up right there. You can see it, $17.95. I guess it might be reversed according to the camera. I don't know about that. But anyway, if you get it on Amazon, and if you don't like it, Bill will give you money back. And Bill's website, if you get in touch with him and just say, I saw on the show, the TV show, he'll know which one you're talking about, that I could contact you and have a 30-minute complimentary, no strings attached consultation. Bill will schedule it with you. And I promise you, within that 30 minutes, he's going to blow your mind. I've never known anybody that Bill did not open up and get into the canyons of their mind. He did it to me. And it wasn't even a scheduled 30-minute consultation. We were down in Largo, Florida. We were at the Speaking Empire. And I saw Bill during the break. He was sitting over there by a table and got a cup of coffee. So I just got a cup of coffee and moseyed on over towards Bill sat down with him, and he started asking me questions. And ladies and gentlemen, within 10 minutes, I knew that I needed to create a course. And I entitled that course, Your Future is Now. Just because he said, Jim, how do you feel about this? And he just asked questions to bring the answers that you already know deep down inside. That blows me away. And I know he will blow you away. So please visit his website there, Bill's website, truelifepurposenow.com. And please check out our 6minutewebinar.com. Now, I got a couple of special announcements for you. Yesterday, we had Joel Peterson on the show. We did not get a chance to cover all of the vitamins that we started yesterday. We will do part 2 next Tuesday. So please make a note of that. If you missed part 1, just go to YouTube. Our YouTube channel is just on YouTube. Just put in Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show, or you can go to our webpage. It's actually a web blog, and just put in mytvshow.live. Let me put the things up here. It's kind of hard to be hosting by yourself and plugging and playing too, because Donna's off and everybody's off. But anyway, you can visit our website and the video is there because we upload the videos. It's done automatically through our system to our web blog, and you can see the information there because on yesterday's show, we shared a lot of information and we put down the actual websites of where we were getting the information from because we wanted to share that with you. I know I'm going on a little bit here in detail, but I wanted to share that with you. And there's another thing. We got two special projects coming up. One I cannot talk about yet. They put a gag order on me, so it's not my fault. But I'm excited about it because of the blessing it's going to give a lot of people. The second one is this may be you or someone you know may be a good musician. I mean, you can play an instrument, or maybe you can't play an instrument, but you can sing whatever, okay? Or maybe, you're in a group of 2 or 3 people, and you guys can, guys and gals, whatever the case may be, you guys can create some good music. Okay, what you need to do is this. Contact us here at our TV show on our email address, inspiration@e360tv.com. Our staff will get it. We want you to send us a good video clip of you guys, or if you're an individual, whatever it might be, with your music. We want to put together a special presentation, and we want to do more than one. And it's going to take time for us to build all this up because you've got to have inventory before you go to a network and say, hey, we want to broadcast on Live Central, or Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Grandma's TV, and everybody else's TV. And but listen, we want some good musicians. The audio's got to be good. It's got to be TV worthy. Otherwise, if you're watching a show and the video is kind of like, well, it's not perfect, but the audio is good, you will remain there. But if the video is great and the audio sounds like 2 cats fighting in an alley, you'll cut it off and go. So make sure of that. Send it to us, and our staff will work on that, and we'll get back with you. Plus, we will interview you here on the show, and then we will play your music. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. We play your music first and then interview you. We'll probably interview and then play the music, but you can actually have a clip of you being on a international TV show seen globally. And we're going to broadcast that during a prime time on a Saturday night. So if that's any inspiration there, let's do it. Now we're talking today, our subject is about mentoring our youth. And it's so important for that. And we got a couple of video clips we're going to play from mentoring.org, and I'll put their marquee up, encourage you to go visit those good people. They're not paying for this, and we're not charging for this. This is just a benefit. But before we do, I want to share with you some stories here about people these are inspirational stories about mentorship. And it just really is interesting because normally we think about mentorship. We normally think about youth, but we should all be young at heart. Would you agree with that? Because behind just about every success story, somewhere along the line, there was a mentor. Chances are it was a fantastic mentor that was able to inspire someone to go the extra mile. And even if people claim that they've paved their own way, there's a strong chance that's not true. And one thing that I've always laughed at when people use the expression, he or she is a self-made millionaire. Oh, really? How did that work? Did they buy and sell from themselves, or did they print their own money, or how did that work? No, it's teamwork. Success requires teamwork. And in that teamwork, you've got to be able to be a blessing to others if you want to be blessed. It's a prerequisite. It's like a farmer, that wants to plant his crop. I grew up on a farm. I know a little something about this. It's like a farmer that wants to have a good crop in the fall. Well, guess what he's got to do in the spring? He's got to till the soil. He's got to get it prepared. He's got to plant the seed, fertilize it, and he's got to plow the fields. He's got to, hoe the crop, and then he's got to gather the crop and hope and pray it had a good, they got enough rain during the season, and it's a prerequisite. If you want to be successful in life, and you want a blessing in your life, look for ways to bless others. You got to invest that first. Then you've earned the right to be blessed. And that's just a prerequisite. And this first story here I want to share with you is about two people. And when you think about mentors in youth, like I say, young at heart, these two couples, or not two couples, two people who happen to be a male and female. Let me clarify that. Nancy A. Schenker, I think I pronounced that right, Schenker, and Jim D. Arcangelo. And not every mentorship story is a typical one, because you normally think one mentor, the mentor being much older than the person they advised, but this wasn't the case. Take, for example, between Nancy and Jim. Nancy is the CEO and founder of a marketing company called The On Switch. 3 words, The On Switch. Okay. And Jim, he is 6 years younger than she is. And he has helped her with her content strategy and her marketing techniques. And she talks about how through his expertise, he opened up a whole new range of career opportunities for me. She said, just as my solid brand marketing skills ran the risk of becoming old school, she believes that Jim came into her life to help her. And through his help, she was able to continue her career for years to come. She describes her mentor as his approach. He's tough, but he's fair. One of the key things you've got to be, especially with younger people, with kids, you got to have strong standards. You can't be weak or wishy-washy. You got to have a strong anchor in you. When the winds of adversity blow, it keeps you steady on course. And you got to be fair. This can't be my way or the highway attitude. That doesn't work with kids. Kids can pick up on that. But if kids know that you're fair and you're reasonable and you will listen to them, that tears down a lot of, boulders in life and a lot of big blocks in life. And she said he pushes her when she needs it and tells her directly what she could be doing better. Now, let's stop right there. That's very, very important on all levels of life. Many times, I still get scolded and corrected at age 74. Why? Because I need it. Do I take offense to it? No. Because recently, I upset a young person who's my mentor. That's probably a fourth of my age. I'm being serious. And I did something goofy, and she just asked me, what in the holy enchiladas are you doing? And I'm going like, well, I made a mistake here, obviously. But see, don't take that personally. If you do, you're small time, and you'll always be small time. It may not be the most pleasant thing that you want to hear, but if you're open-minded and you're honest with yourself and say, I made a mistake, I goofed up, that's where love comes in. Have enough love for yourself to forgive yourself, and then say, okay, let's put this behind us and let's drive on. That's very, very critical, because he would tell her directly, going back to Jim and Nancy's story, he would tell her directly when she could be doing something better. And that's why you got to be open-minded. When you're talking to a mentor, or if you're talking to someone that's giving you feedback on what you're doing, whether it's business or whatever, you've got to be open-minded. That's critical. Don't take it personally. And she says in one specific instance, She was writing something that she believed was complete, thought it was fantastic. She wanted to publish it immediately, and Jim told her, "This is too negative. It needs some work." And she admitted, she says, "At first I was stubborn, but I had to admit that the rewritten piece still had my voice, but it was much more intelligent and it was engaging." And despite Nancy's many years in business, she isn't afraid to admit that she still benefits from this kind of help. And she says, and this is very, very important, you're never too old to be mentored. And that is critical in life. It really is. And it really inspires me because we normally think about mentoring our youth. A good mentor can be mentored. Think about that. I'd like to share another story with you, if I may, about Kelly Nelson and Hallie Fisher. Kelly Nelson didn't immediately click with Hallie Fisher, a manager, several levels above her on the corporate ladder, and at the small PR firm that she worked at, or where they worked, I should say. And she says, to be honest, I was terrified of her. Nelson described Fisher as being a no-nonsense, go get over it type of Midwestern through and through. In other words, suck it up if you can and quit your complaining. And someone who would quite literally pull no punches and just doesn't ask, but expects her and everyone on her staff to do great things. In other words, she's got zero tolerance for nonsense, slacking off, and goofiness. And so that's the kind of mentor that you need. You need a mentor that will push you, that will challenge you. Sometimes a mentor needs to be someone that you can share things with. You can, have a shoulder or a soft shoulder, listen to you and all that. But there's times when you need some good, harsh, come on now, it's time to play ball. Suck it up. Let's go. You got to get with the program here. And that was a big wake-up call for her because for someone who was new to the workforce, and it was certainly new for Nelson, but now she truly appreciates it. She says that one time Fisher showed great compassion and encouragement to her. She was in Nelson's corner when she was fighting for a promotion. And when Nelson felt that she had messed up with a client and she was understandably upset, Fisher didn't yell or get angry, but instead helped her come up with a plan to fix the problem. Now think about that. As a mentor, you could be mentoring a young person and they try their best and they goof up. And what they really need at that time is someone to come in, not get upset with them and just say, it's okay. Relax. Take a deep breath and relax. We can work out of this. Let's come up with a plan. And, you might ask them a question. Would you like for us to work together and solve this and put this behind us? Ask positive yes questions. That's extremely critical. And she says, even when she was encouraging, when Nelson left her company for a new opportunity, it continued on because of the relationship. And she says she has taught me more in 4 years that I've worked with for her than any stint of a 4-year college could have. And there's a wonderful picture of them here. And it's just amazing how she just loves, her mentor and working with her and how much she's meant to her. And in a few moments, I'm going to share a video with you. Now, this video, let me put up their website here. This video is from mentoring.org. You can see it there on the marquee. As I said, we're not affiliated with them. They're not paying us anything. We're sharing their video here on our show. We want to give them proper credit. So please, after you see this video and you like what you see, get in touch with these people because there's something you can do to pick up knowledge or to be able to contribute, whatever it might be. And this, when I saw this video here, as I was doing my research for the show, I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to share this video. And this is 3 minutes and 55 minutes long, but listen to the message here. The message is important. It is critical. We'll be right back. Whoops, did I goof?
Joe's personality, he's a little bubbly, outgoing, so I call him Mr. Social Butterfly. He was always an outdoor child, very interactive. I decided Joe could have benefited from a mentor because his father was not involved.
The feeling of meeting Joe for the first time was kind of like positive nervousness, like, oh, I hope he enjoys spending time with me.
Some of the risks I faced growing up were, looking at it in terms of like young, male of color, inner city, Boston, like the odds are stacked against me in that sense. I never had a father that was around, which is one of the reasons why my mom signed me up for this program.
Joe learned that I wasn't going to flake on him and not be there. So it allowed him to just be himself.
We had some of the same common interests with sports, and it just got me active.
One of the immediate changes I saw upon Robin entering Joe's life was Joe's grades improved drastically.
It was definitely rewarding to see Joe becoming a National Honor Society student, graduating from high school, seeing him walk across the stage to get his degree at Bridgewater State.
I really created myself when I was in school, and that was through the help of mentoring, being able to become the person that I am today. So I wanted to be that for someone else in addition to the other support that they have as well.
I think it's really important that me and Joe meet up. If we didn't, I feel like I would be lacking in a support system. He's the best mentor I've had.
It's great to see Joe be a success counselor for college students. He is such a great fit for that job.
Robin changed my life significantly because at the end of the day, I knew I had Robin in my corner no matter what. I've known him since I was 8 years old, and now I'm 25, so he's always been there.
We've become good friends, and the line between mentor and mentee has kind of blurred. So I think it's more of a best friend situation rather than mentor-mentee.
When you look at a relationship like Joe and Robin's relationship and you see the difference that it made, and then the way that connects them to community, to opportunity, to resources, and the ripple effect that has, that's when you reflect on the 1 in 3 young people who don't get connected to a mentor, who are in isolation, and you realize we can't leave this to chance.
Robin was definitely a ripple effect for me. I didn't know it at the time, but he was sparking change by, being in my life. I want to be that change to someone else as well. And then hopefully they can be the change to someone else in the future too.
Being a mentor has helped me realize how important it is to listen closely and how little things could make a huge impact on someone's life. If I wasn't a mentor, my life would be less fulfilling, would have less depth because Joe wouldn't have been part of my life. And I can't imagine my life without Joe right now.
Having a mentor in my life was one of the best decisions my mom has ever made for me. You never know what's going to be there for you, who's going to be there for you. So don't judge a book until you actually read it. And this is an ongoing book with plenty of chapters.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of that great video, huh? Remember earlier I said, if you want to be blessed in life, you got to bless others first. And look how, Joe was, got blessed there. And look how both of them became blessed. And look how they just grew from that. My goodness. And the blessing gets passed on. That's the one thing that's very, very unique there. You bless someone, you get blessed back in return. And that blessing now is getting passed on. And it just dominoes. And the good folks there at mentoring.org, like I say, we're not affiliated with them, and we don't charge for giving them the free advertising for their marquee. But I do encourage you to go to their website and check them out, because there might be something there that could spark your interest to become a mentor, or to donate to them, or to be a blessing to them somehow or another. Because if you want to be blessed, look for ways to bless others. And I highly recommend you to start with the mentoring.org folks. They are really spectacular. And yesterday, I just saw something here. I'm going to share this with you. Yesterday in the show, we were talking about some of the great things that can help us with health. We put up the marquee so people could actually go there. And since I said that, we got this article here. This is one of the things we covered about the vitamins. We're going to continue on that next Tuesday. So if you got a pen and paper and you want to make a note of that, or if you see the show later, you want to do a freeze frame on it, this is some great information. We like to share with you where we get our information from, and we encourage you to visit these different websites and become informed on things that's important to you and your loved ones. And let's see here. I got to get back into where we're paying a few bills here. Our show is brought to you by the 7 Levels of Truth with Bill Heinrich. And we're so honored to be with him. And also the 6-minute webinar. I shared with you at the beginning of the show the value of the 6-minute webinar and being able to communicate the sole reason. If someone's coming to you, they're looking for you to answer one specific problem. So don't tell them 5 or 6 other things that you do. That doesn't mean anything to them. And the 6-minute webinar allows you to communicate directly with them in a 101 type of status. And it really is amazing. And I want to share one more story with you, if I may. And I cannot pronounce this young lady's name. Her first name, Baochi. I can't pronounce that, so I'm not going to even try to slaughter it. And Nguyen, Nguyen, and James Beriker, Beriker. Now, like many other mentors, Miss Nguyen mentor is her boss, James Beriker. The two have worked together at a San Francisco startup called Munchery, Munchery. Nguyen, Nguyen, as Vice President of Marketing, and Beriker as CEO. Okay. Now, she did not always have a permanent position with Beriker. She worked as a contractor for a while her mentor, with her mentor giving her help along the way. She said, and I'm quoting here, "He gave me a chance when I didn't seem to have anything to offer. He invited me to company events. He invited me to strategy meetings. And even though I was just a contractor and listened thoroughly to his marketing ideas, she said it was just amazing because of the chance that he gave her. He took on helping her. She was constantly motivated to prove him right." Think about that. If someone believes in you, you got a young person believes in you, you will inspire them for them to want to prove to you that you're right. And that's a blessing. And in this particular case, she was constantly motivated to prove him right and to be the best she could be at her job. And she says, and I'm quoting here now, "He highly motivates me to be successful, empowers me to make decisions, and overall, he makes me want to be a better person." Wow. Where do you find people like that? Are you that kind of a person? Whether you got an online business, whether you don't have a business at all, you can still be that person that can motivate others, especially a young person, to be successful in life. You can also help them to develop, to be powerful enough to empower themselves, to make their own decisions, the right decisions. And you can also encourage them that the final goal is to become a better person. And it goes on to say here, while finding and getting to know your mentor can take time, these people I shared with you today on the show, they have a rock solid bond, and it comes from the mentor-mentee relationship. Despite your situation, no matter what it is, mentors can tirelessly work through frustration and fear to ensure a bright future for those that they inspire. And that's really the calling of a mentor, to work through the negative and bring them into the light, to the positive. What a wonderful story that is. And ladies and gentlemen, getting back to, let me put up their marquee again, mentoring.org. I have one more. This is a short video that I wanted to share with you. And it's a good one.
It was 17 years ago when she was in the first grade. She was a shy little girl, not able to smile much, and we worked on that a lot, and she came around, and now she's quite talkative.
Someone came to my classroom and said, oh, this is going to be your new friend.
I wasn't sure what would be her interest, so I put together this bag, which I call my little bag of tricks, containing games, cards, arts and crafts. But as we got to know one another and we did more fun things, an hour flew by, and it would almost sometimes seem like 15 or 20 minutes, and it was time to pack up and go and put all the things back in my little bag of tricks and wait for next week. I brought a new game, tic-tac-toe, and she was real anxious to play. She was joking around and trying to fool me. The most relaxed I have found her yet.
When Elaine let me read her diary, I read a lot of things about her saying how excited she was to see me every week, and I didn't even realize how important I was to her. And Elaine made me feel like that she really cared, and she was always going to be there for me. No matter what I was going through, she never gave up on me.
Just really became a good part of her life, and it was a great part of my life too.
I didn't realize how important she meant to me. And now that I'm mentoring, I feel that importance, and I can spread those same values to the girls I mentor, and hopefully they can just keep passing on. It could be a big chain of, it's just a big chain of hope for younger people.
Never had a daughter, and the relationship we have now is wonderful. I really feel like she's a part of my family now, and I'm happy to have her.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, the video there we got from mentoring.org. Think about that. I never thought about that. She got together a bag of tricks, and she found a way, something to challenge her with or to have fun with. And I see that Emerson is with us. He's backstage. I'm going to bring him up to the front. He looks real official. He's got his rabbit ears on and everything. Hey, Emerson, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Well, you ragged me last time because of the background noise, so I figured I'd put these hoopers on today.
Oh yeah. He's just an outdoor woodsy country kind of a guy. But you know, the videos we shared, I know I sent them to you. I was going to share.
Oh, they're wonderful. I watched them beforehand.
Yeah.
I especially love the one that you just showed.
Oh yeah. Because it just, and then again, ladies and gentlemen, the content of those videos that you saw, the one we just played and the one earlier, when you look at that, if that inspires you to say, hey, what can I do? How can I be a positive influence on a young person? Get in touch with mentoring.org. They've done it. They've done it, and they would be more than glad and to help you any way you can. And like I say, we're not affiliated with them. They don't pay us anything. And it's just our privilege and blessing in life to be able to share this information about this wonderful organization. And I've actually invited them to be on the show, so hopefully we'll hear from them soon, because I think it would be a great addition. Emerson, I tell you, when it comes to being a great mentor, you've done a lot of mentoring in your life, and you mentor me on some things, and Donna mentors me on things, and everybody mentors me on things because I need some mentoring.
You've been a mentor to a lot of people too, Jim.
Well, thank you, sir. The point of it is we're never too old. All of us need good mentorship.
Right.
It's like a relationship. It nourishes you and it fills the voids in your life. It really does. And
my mother used to always say that, the teacher learns more often than this, from their student.
Oh,
and the truth is, I think in that last one was a really good example of that. But I assume you've already shown the other one about the
Yes.
young man.
Yes, I did.
Both of them. It was so interesting towards the end when the mentor was giving their comments about how the relationship had meant what it had meant and mattered in their life. And it, you grow from the process of the mentoring. And, it's when we don't, and I'm just going to tell you a sad example here.
Okay.
So my mother-in-law, who many of you know, passed away here about a year and a half ago, at 92. But she'd been a violinist her entire life, and when she got to where she wasn't able to play it anymore, and she still was active in the community orchestra that she was part of. But I said to her so many times, why don't you go with one of the schools and find somebody who wants to be a violinist in the school and become their mentor? Oh no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't know how to play, and there were 100 different reasons. But what she missed out on in that process was it is so fulfilling. It is so fulfilling when you have somebody, and they don't have to be younger. You can mentor people who are older, or who are looking for that guidance in their life, whatever that is. It may not be, the kind of guidance that a 17-year-old might be looking for about, like Forrest Gump said, mama was my destiny kind of guidance. It may simply be something as simple as helping somebody who's trying to learn how to use social media so that they can stay in touch with their children or grandchildren who are distant from them. And they want to be able to, they just don't know how, and they don't have anyone who can guide them. And when you find people that are looking for that, it is so fulfilling.
It really is. And ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the background noise of the airplane, I guess it was, but that's just one of the things that happens when you're outside. So
I know.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah. I want to put your website up there, Emerson, web3direct.com.
Okay.
Because you've been a great, inspiration for us here, and you've got a lot of marketing experience. And, if you have questions about marketing or how to write something, just get in touch with Emerson. He'd be glad to help you.
We're always learning, right, Jim? I mean, I have spent this week studying. My head is exploding with studying about the using artificial intelligence in marketing and in our copywriting, which I've done for decades, in video and film production, in image. In adjusting images so that they look the way that we want for our business, and we really are on the threshold of a whole new world as far as the opportunities that it presents. And people say, well, are you worried about AI replacing you? You know what? I'm not. I'm not, because at the end of the day, technology is, any new technology is amoral. It's not good and it's not bad. It can be used for good and it can be used for bad. But when I look at it, it was like when I first was looking at marketing on the internet, and this goes way back on the Wayback Machine, but people were talking about it like it was the end of television, or it was going to be the end of direct mail, or it was going to be the end of radio. And I looked at it as, what all I want to know is, how can I incorporate this new path, this new channel, this new means of communicating and building relationships with people?
Oh yeah.
So,
That's really something. Yeah, you're exactly right. So, being open-minded and realizing that the world has always been changing since day one, and it's not going to stop. And it's just I remember a story way back, and we got a little bit off a topic of mentoring, but
well, let me tie that in. I should have tied that
okay,
in better.
okay.
I was being mentored.
Mm.
I was being mentored by somebody who has spent a great deal of time studying and learning this and wanted to share it, and it was looking over the shoulder and seeing exactly how they were using it and how it worked and the things that didn't work, and it was feeding me exactly what I was looking for. They were mentoring me in what they had learned.
Yeah. And I know you well enough to say this. I know for a fact that if the person mentoring you was younger than you, there wouldn't be this mental block that some people have because I'm older, I should know more, because it has nothing to do with age, it has everything to do with intelligence about and knowledge of the specific thing. And when you share that, you can also share your knowledge with them. It's a win-win situation.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a bless type situation.
Yeah. It's not age. What's the old saying? Age ain't nothing but a number, and mine's unlisted.
Yeah.
It's
I like that.
I have mentored countless people, and I have myself been mentored, and I have never considered age as a factor in it when somebody was willing to share and give of themselves to me. That's what mentoring is. You're giving of yourself into somebody else's life.
Yeah. And there's many stories of people who have been mentored, and they share what it meant to them. But the thing that I find interesting is that in every story that's worth reading, the mentor or the mentee, excuse me, became inspired to become a mentor.
Yes.
And pass along this blessing in life. And that is extremely, extremely critical, isn't it, Emerson?
It is. And both of the videos that you showed, both of those videos, that was the end result, both for the young man and for the young woman at the end.
Oh, yeah.
How can you not? If somebody has given you that leg up in your life and you've experienced what that meant for you, you just have to really be a cold or cynical or selfish. I mean, not want to do the same thing for somebody else, to pay it forward.
Oh, yeah.
And that's mentoring, is paying it forward.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what really, I think a lot of times, I'm going to say myself so I don't put anybody else on the spot, but I don't think I really realize or I really appreciate that whenever I'm a blessing to someone, and whatever it might be, if it inspires them to bless others, I'm still going to get positive blessings and energy back from that original, source, because it's something that when you create something that's that good and it's got that much energy behind it, it never forgets its source. That's a universal law, because it's just like love. We know where love comes from. And love does not forget its source. That's the bottom line. And so I want to share that with you to encourage you to become a mentor, because it's so important. You have so much to share. There's some people out there that's probably thinking, well, I've never been successful in life. I've never really, done anything. I've never received any type of recognition or a pat on the shoulder. How could I be a mentor? And Emerson, when I use that expression, I'm being a little dramatic and a little bit maybe borderline ridiculous, but there are people out there who don't feel that they're worthy enough, or they know enough, or they have enough time or something to be a mentor. If someone said that to you, what would you say to them in return?
Well, one of my favorite sayings, and I'm using it completely out of the normal context,
Mhm.
but that is that familiarity breeds resentment.
Yes.
And usually when we hear that, our breeds contempt is the way it's normally said.
Right.
Usually when we hear that, it's talking about two people who have been in a relationship for many years and they no longer value each other.
Mhm.
They just see the
Amen.
flaws.
Mhm.
And that's how it's normally used. But I would proposition this idea that every single one of us is more familiar with ourselves than anybody else in the universe. We live in
Mhm.
our head. You live in your head
Mhm.
24/7, 365, and there are voices in your head that are constantly reminding of every flaw, of every failure, of every screw up, of everything wrong.
Mhm.
And rarely do we have as many voices that are balancing that out with how wonderful you are, how smart you are, how what great decisions you've made,
Mhm.
how talented you are. And so when we, and here's the example I use, Jim. We've all been at a party. I'm going to keep covering this up as they decided to buzz my house today, while I'm sitting out here.
He's a suspicious looking character. They got the
I
police
know.
helicopters going.
That's right. That's what it is. So, you know, we've all been at, well, maybe not, but we can all picture this scene of being at a party. Maybe it's a cocktail party, maybe it's a networking party, and there's a piano in the corner, and somebody sits down and they just start kind of playing something beautiful on the piano, and pretty soon 4 or 5 people and 10 or 12 people are standing around.
Mhm.
And at the end, somebody walks up and says, I always wished I could play piano like that. You are amazing. That was beautiful. Thank you. And the person, instead of simply saying the 2 words, thank you,
Thank you.
right? That's a lesson there for all of us. To
Yeah.
just learn to say thank you when you
Yeah.
get a compliment. They'll say something like, well, if you had Mrs. Johnson hitting your hand with her ruler every time you hit a wrong note from the time you were 7 years old to the time you were 18, you'd be able to play just like me. And they have just totally discounted that gift, what that talent, what that skill meant to somebody else, and seen it and heard it through their ears and their eyes, and the value that their talent and skill has brought to someone else.
Oh, yeah.
So we hear our own Mrs. Jones story in our head, or whatever, we hear every flaw, every stumble, but somebody else, your mentee, okay, if you're mentoring someone, somebody else sees, wow, how did you ever do this? How did you ever go from where you were at to here? And what were the steps you went through? And what are the things you learned along the way? And they're hungry to know how you know what you know, and to learn what you know, and to have you be their friend, their guide. I think the young man, the story of the young man talked about how they were more like best friends now.
Yeah. Yes,
Right?
that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
That trusted friend who will take your hand and say, let me tell you what I've learned. Here, we try this. You see how it works. This is what I've learned. Here's some guidance for you to help you through this. You're going to run into this. That's invaluable.
Oh, yeah.
That's invaluable.
It really truly is. And, when you think about that, they went from a mentor-mentee relationship to become, kind of like brothers in a
Oh,
family.
yeah. Yeah.
They really did. And you think about the love and the brotherly love they have for one another. And how do you think the mentor feels to see his mentee now going out into colleges, into areas where he could be a mentor.
Oh, getting that
And
diploma, right?
oh
Wasn't that a
yeah.
great picture? Oh,
Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. I mean, just think. And when he started out, all he wanted to do was just be a person to show a little boy, a young boy, that he cared.
yeah.
That's all. That's all. And sometimes that's all you need to do to start. And Emerson, I look at the time here, and we're already closing in on the hour, and we got to get ready to go.
I'll just say this. One of my closest friends
Mhm.
was in Big Brothers and
Mm.
Big Sisters for many years. That's the heart and soul of that organization too. It's
Yes.
that idea
Yes.
that you are
Mhm.
you're not just showing up to help somebody on a weekend. You're
Mhm.
there for them to help
Yeah.
guide them.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our broadcast time is over. We got to close the show. We just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We sincerely hope you enjoyed these two amazing stories about people who are mentors and their mentors, the mentees, and how the mentees are, going forward with it in life. And that's so important. So please find a way that you can be a blessing to others. If you want to be blessed, look for a way to bless others first. Remember what I said earlier, that the farmer's got to prepare the field, plant the crop before he can reap the harvest. That's just the way the world turns. And on behalf of Emerson and myself, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure and love yourself first and give yourself enough grace when those thoughts come up that you will forgive yourself and say, hey, that's not who I am. It does not own me. It does not define me. We'll be back tomorrow with the pets we love. We got a great show lined up. Hope you can join us. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again, Emerson. Appreciate it.